Wilson Miles from Black Film TV. Hello, folks. How's it going?
How's it going,
Good,
Melissa?
how are you?
Good, good. So, Nandi, obviously, directorial debut. What led you to say, okay, let me get behind the camera and do this myself?
We were running out of time. That's what it was. I, I helped to write the script, and we started looking for directors. Myself and Mark Duplass started looking for directors. It started turning into this thing where if we stay on looking for directors, because everybody has their own project and everybody's deep into something, we're going to be here another 5 years before somebody says yes. And eventually, we got to the point where we were talking, and Mark just said, "Well, hey, you wrote it. Why don't you direct it?" And that's sort of how it all started.
Melissa, you play a ball buster out here doing her job, by the book. What more can you say about your character?
You said it all. She's trying her best in a hard world.
But when you walk into this character, obviously as a white policewoman, oh no, as a white detective, investigating a black scene, anything can happen. From from black perspective, we're like, okay, is she gonna go by the book? Is she doing her job, or or are we looking for, to midway through the film for something to drop, where she takes a turn, but it doesn't go that route. What did you think when you got this script and you read what your role is?
Well, I had read the script, but I wasn't all that interested until I spoke with Nnamdi. And it was in speaking to Nnamdi that I understood that how this detective was portrayed was integrally important to making this film nobody had ever seen before work. How he knew that, I don't know. The man's a way out there genius. So I took his direction and tried to fill that character in the way he imagined I might when he asked me to do the part for him. And I think it's a very beautiful thing. I don't think this is the first black family home that the detective's ever been in. I think that it might be the first black family home that many of the audience goers have been in, and that's interesting. That in itself is interesting. But I think that, if we don't really know where we are in the world. I think at some point a town is mentioned or something, but we don't really know where. But we're in the United States, for God's sake. Police, she's risen in the ranks. I think that, and she's female, and I think she knows what prejudice is. And I don't think she cottons to it much. She's got her own issues. So she's just trying to do her job. I like the way you see it. That's what you seem to see in it, and I appreciate that a lot. Because
I
it's
just want to say, I just want to say quickly, Wilson, Melissa has a way, she's won Academy Award, so she has a way of bringing truth and honesty to roles. And I knew that I had watched her. I was a big fan of hers, and I knew she could bring that to this. But when you're playing a cop, playing a detective, this sort of situation, she's the white cop, she's going into a black family. We've seen the movies a million times. What I wanted was someone that could bring humanity to this cop role, to this detective role, like someone that could bring truth in a real way that wasn't a caricature, that wasn't sort of just in your face and we all know how the story's going to end. I wanted there to be some depth, and I knew she could bring it. And I'll stop there because the things that she does with this role, I mean, it's remarkable. So,
Yeah.
I also have to add, she is so nuanced in it. There's so many layers to Melissa's performance, which is what I really appreciate in observing it, because it allows you to go further into to questioning whose side are you on? Who do you believe? Because you can see it from everyone's perspective involved, which I think that's what makes it really compelling and challenging for the audience, when observing this.
yeah.
Then there's your performance as the mother, who does things that are like, was she in the right to do so? Maybe not, And I have to say, personally, I was in a situation years ago with a couple of friends of mine, a husband and a wife,
This is being
and
recorded now. Don't
yes,
don't
no, 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 no.
implicate us.
Where innocently, we get stopped, and the cops are coming nearby,
Mhm.
and the wife does something that looked innocent because she was trying to be protective. You
Mm,
know, she was trying to be protective. So when I see what your character does, it's like anybody can take different interpretations for it. How did you see it?
So I feel completely justified in my character's actions. Like because it's something we all know, these are Black people living in America. It's like it would have been odd to me if she didn't do what she does, because we all understand that it's about perception,
Mhm.
and or the fear of what a perception may be just because of certain circumstances of unfolding before someone. And I don't know the experience of the detective entering my home. I don't know the experience of the cops entering my home. I just know what I see on the news and read the newspaper, and and what the people in my life have experienced. And so in that moment, it becomes the question of, what can I do to absolutely protect my family? Now, does that work out for my character? People have to watch the movie to find out.
Anya,
But
at
but
any
I
given point, did you change the script as you were writing this along? Obviously, because as the movie goes along, things are changing. We're like, oh, this is not so straightforward as we thought it was going to be. So did things change, or was it always set this way when you came on?
no, a lot changed. I came in and brought my perspective into the story, and a lot of I think with every character, with the story overall, there was a big shift, and it was just how do you find the nuances, like we're talking about, like how do you find these moments that allow you to question what's going on, as opposed to seeing clearly what's going on. You got your opinion. This is the way it's going. How do we make it more of reality? Which in reality, everyone has their own perspective, and I was trying to find the perspective for each character and trying to build that in so that the audience could also be in their shoes in each moment that they had. So everyone has a choice throughout the film from start to finish. Each character makes a choice. There's a consequence, a detrimental consequence, I think, to every choice that they make, and it plays out throughout the film. And I needed the audience to be in each character's shoe while they made that choice, just so that they could be in there with them. And the choice that Asia made. Anyway, I don't want to go deep into
No,
them,
yeah,
but if you
it's such compelling that like you have to watch. As I said, being that this is your first film and we've seen you behind the camera in other projects, what's your takeaway having done this moving forward, skill set wise, to whatever you do next?
the takeaway is that uh, I'm going to keep directing. This is my first takeaway. I love it. I got into acting because I loved the movies. I got into producing because I needed to create roles for myself. When you're coming from sports, a lot of people aren't going to give you that shot, and so you have to sort of make your way into the industry. And then again, coming into writing and directing, it was how do I create another project? It wasn't about how do I start doing new things. It was also that the acting portion of it and the new projects portion was being fed. And it just led to more hats that I was wearing. But now I fell in love with directing, and so that's just going to keep going forward uh, as far as it can go.
Melissa, how was working with Nandi as an actor director?
He's a wonderful actor, and he's so easy on the eyes. So that's all lovely. But as a director, and I have worked with some of the world's great directors, and I've worked with some pretty lousy directors too. Nnamdi is absolutely top 5 directors, top 2 directors I've ever worked with. Everything about him, how he brings the athlete that he was to the thing. That's why we're a team. We're in there like a team. He's treating everybody. You're not going to forget the guy in the back because he's the one who's going to save the game for you. I am so excited to hear him say this is where he's going to take it, because it's who he is. He may have been a football player. He might have been quite good at that. He's a lovely actor, but this man is a director.
Congrats on the film. Congrats to you all. Obviously, I'm looking forward to everybody else watching this. Thankfully, it's going to hit the theaters so we can fully support it. Keep doing the work for each one of you. Obviously, I'm always there to support. We'll talk down the road. Take care, folks.
Thank
Thank
you, Wilson.
Thank
you so much.
you.